Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, man. It's been a hell of a week. Coming off a hell of a weekend already. But before we get started, man, we got a hell of a show coming up this weekend. Reality of Wrestling is going down right there, 10,000 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway. Bell time, 7 p.m., guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. But hey, man, I'm just happy to be back here on the air, coming to you live from ESPN 97.5, 92.5. You know, giving you guys what you want, giving the people what they want more than anything. But Brad, how you feel, man? Right now, before we even get started, also, I had a procedure done today. It's called PRP therapy. It's like stem cell in the knees. The doctor told me I'll be dunking by next week. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm about to get my game back. I know my wife listening to this, so I better be quiet. But how you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good, Book. I'd probably hold off on the dunking for a little bit longer. Hope your knees feel better. Look, this show is for the people. It's all about the people. We had a great weekend of wrestling. And then some not so great things happened after all the wrestling. I'm sure they're all going to talk about. But yeah, that casket match is going down this Saturday at the World Gym Arena. The first time ever, Izzy James, JP Harlow will settle the score in a casket match. First of its kind at Reality of Wrestling. So we're really excited for that. It's going to be good, Book. I'm excited.
It's going to be a new tag team running around there too, causing havoc, heating things up. They're actually called the Heat. So yeah, man, it's gonna be good, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Well, Book, I mean, look, did you have a good Labor Day? Let's start on the most positive notes that we can before we just dive into the messiness.
I did a fish seafood deal. I made some fried cat and I made some fried lobster tail as well. And man, the fried lobster tail, man, with the lemon butter and the garlic. It was good, to say the least. And the wife, man, she just she definitely went to town on it. My daughter, she got real busy. So yeah, man, yeah. And then I made some chicken and rice and black beans just yesterday. Black beans, man. When you get black beans, man, you got to go with the Goyo, man. The Goyo. They need to give me, I need to start representing Goyo because I eat so many of the black beans. It ain't nothing. They're good, man. They're real good. Yeah, man, it's been an awesome week for me, man. Awesome week.
Well, in case you've been living under a rock, we had a big wrestling weekend. It started off with Clash at the Castle, went on to NXT.
62,000 people in attendance, baby. And yeah, man, it was definitely off the chains. As far as I'm reading the tea leaves, everybody seemed to like everything about that pay-per-view except the ending.
Well, the very end of it, I wasn't a huge fan of. I liked the finish of the match. Roman and Drew, phenomenal. I mean, just these guys went out there, and boy, did they work. They put on a show. So did Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle. Oh, what a great match.
Yeah.
I didn't love Drew McIntyre singing American Pie at the end of the night with Tyson Fury. I mean,
over there, you got to do that kind of stuff.
But a lot of people were like, "What the hell is this about?" If you're a Tyson Fury fan, or if you've ever been in the fight or building for one of his fights, you were aware of what was going on. Like, this is something he did that when he beat Deontay Wilder. That was his post-fight speech. Yeah. So it's not uncommon for him. But a great show overall. The right guy won. You elevated a new talent in Solo Sikoa, who's now a member of the Bloodline, and in one night, you made him an important part of the show. This is why Triple H right now is, as far as the major wrestling promotions go, he's the best booker as of this moment because he knows how to elevate his talent. And at least for the time being, knows how to, keep everybody eyes on the prize and focused on one goal, and that's to put on one hell of a show.
Yeah, I thought the move with Solo coming in was really, really cool. But people aren't so happy about the way Braun Strowman came back, so there are mixed emotions as far as the way he came back and squashed the Team Alpha Academy, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes I don't know. Sometimes people look at things and just want it their way, but I look at bringing someone like Braun back. You got to bring him back with an impact, and you got to wonder how you're going to do it. Should you do it in a match? Should you do it in a promo? That's here nor there. There again, I'm not looking to book the show. I'm just glad to see Braun back in action, back where he's supposed to be. I thought that the stuff that Braun was doing when he was away from the company with the group, what's called CYN.
Control your narrative.
CYN. CYN, yeah. I think that was cool for him to keep himself out there, keep his name out there. Stay motivated in some way, shape, form. I thought that was cool for him. But I'm glad to see Braun back in a place where I think a person like Braun Strowman being 6'5" plus, 300 plus pounds, he can thrive in the WWE.
You know what? I agree. I actually thought he looked great. And the fans reacted to him well. I want to see where it goes before I'm like all the way on board, but I like that, we're having new faces return. The chat is on fire right now. We're going to get to all of your super chats. If you have a specific question, I'm sure a lot of you want to hear about the AEW drama backstage, the stuff with CM Punk, the fisticuffs, hands were thrown, but not only by Braun Strowman, apparently members of the AEW roster, including their executive vice presidential staff. A lot went down, Book. Their biggest show of the year started on Sunday. That is AEW All Out. And the All Out, by all accounts, was a good wrestling show. There's some weird, interesting booking decisions. Some people didn't love, some people liked it, whatever the case. The real story came after the show, where AEW does a post-fight press conference, typically, or post-show press conference. Same way Dana White does. Same way Triple H just did overseas, right? I mean, after Cardiff, they had a bunch of talent come down and sit down.
It was a big show. It was a big show. It was a special occasion. We're not in Cardiff on a, weekly occasion or anything like that. And I thought that was really, really cool to give people a little bit of something special, be able to ask questions and whatnot. I'm not sure exactly the way that presser went, but I've been a part of WWE pressers before, and we normally in character. We normally try to keep things in character form. So I don't know. Did you see any of it?
Of the WWE press conference?
Yeah.
I mean, there was in and out of what you'd call character. Roman definitely kind of stayed in Roman mode.
Yeah.
Triple H talked more out of character.
Of course.
And speaking out of character, I don't know if it was technically out of character for Mr. CM Punk, also known as Phil Brooks, but he won the internet, if you will, over the weekend because the entirety of the show centered around his post match press conference with Tony Khan, and he went all over the place, Booker, talking about Colt Cabana, talking about Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Adam Hangman Page. It was a surreal sight because this is coming off, if we can set the stage, this is coming off of what we've heard weeks of rumors of dissension in the AEW locker room. 2 weeks ago, CM Punk, quote unquote, went into business for himself. And then they had the big talent meeting last week. Now they have this skirmish after the show. Did you see CM Punk's comments? We have some clips we'll play, but did you see them?
We got to talk about it. But we got to take a break, man. The thing's moving quick. Already. But stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a second.
Paid monetary spokesperson for Walker, Texas lawyer.
I'm six-time world champion Booker T, and I face tough competition all over the world. But when it comes to insurance companies, I tag in Walker, the Texas lawyer.
Hey, if you've been in an accident and you want me to fight for you, call me.
Now can you dig that?
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Shoop! We're still working on the ship shirts, man. We're still working on the ship shirts. But welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys, where you get your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Want to thank everybody that's coming in chat, man. Everybody want to get their champagne wishes today. And we got guess what? We're gonna let you have it. But Brad, what do you want to talk about, man? What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I mean, we got to talk about the AEW post-fight press conference, the presser that went down with
Post-fight,
CM Punk. Post-match, post-fight, whatever you want to say.
I like the way you say it.
Well, yeah, because brawl did ensue. We're going to get to it. Now, I was asking you before the break, did you see that night or the next morning, did you hear about what had happened with CM Punk's post-fight press conference?
You know what, man? Before we even get there, I do know. I could say this. This should be happy times for Tony Khan. It really should be. All Out. You remember the first one they did? Well, it was in Vegas, right? In Vegas.
That was Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. What did they push All Out? It was wherever it was.
In Chicago.
Didn't they have a certain kind of feel to it? Everybody was like buzzing, even in Vegas when they did the one in Vegas. Double or Nothing. Remember how over the top everybody was just so enthusiastic about AEW, and now All Out. What this All Out 3?
Yeah.
All Out 3. This should be like some of the happiest times for AEW. And the thing is, nobody is even. I don't think I've heard anybody really talk about the pay-per-view at all.
No,
I haven't heard anybody talk about any of the matches that went down at that pay-per-view. It's like the pay-per-view never happened, And for me, that's when things really need to be re-geared and rethought about, and we need to ask the question, what the hell are we doing and why are we here? What are we doing this for? Because the wrestling business has never thrived off of, me. Okay. It's always going to be that guy that's at the top and he's getting a whole lot. It's, everything's falling, in his favor, like the Hulk, like the Rocks, like the Austins, like the Triple H of the world. It's always been that way. Go all the way back in the history and the annals of time to Gorgeous George. You know what I mean? But when the company don't realize, that guy on top, we got to push for him. We got to make that guy strong as we possibly can, so everybody can eat and eat properly. It's not going to work out, but everybody got to be on the same page at the same time, and that's where the one word I talk about, I think more so than anything with this situation, is leadership. You know what I mean? You got to have leadership in this situation in order to be able to take control of the reins and say, hey man, no, hell no. We going this way right here. No, we going this way. When you don't have someone in that position making those decisions, that's when like wagon train, the wheels could just fall off, baby. I hope somebody picked that clip up right there. Like wagon train. That's one of the old movies from back in the day.
It sounds old. Going off of what you said, I'm glad that you said that, because after the CM Punk went out on AEW Dynamite and made those comments about Hangman Adam Page, we remember him calling him out. Hangman wasn't even there. He calls him out, and there was a big ruckus around that. We talked about it on this show, and this was exactly what you said about what the response should be to this. Okay, I want to play this. This is from 2 weeks ago on the Hall of Fame.
Well, CM Punk's in a leadership position, and that's what I think more so than anything has to be displayed is leadership, because you're the guy everybody's looking to make this thing work. You're the one that got paid all the big money to come in and make everything right here. So when you're in that position, you're in a position of leadership. And me personally, I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but I think there again, Tony Khan has to step up, but I think CM Punk has to step up too as a leader, as a general for that company. Now, anybody can take that and pick it apart and say whatever they want to say about it. But only thing I'm saying is CM Punk is in a very, very unique position to where people are looking towards him to make sure we win. There again, I could be wrong.
So you talking about the leadership needing leadership from CM Punk after that moment on Dynamite, and now we see where it's come.
Yeah, man. Like I say, man, those guys in that locker room, they ain't gonna disrespect you. Okay, they're not gonna disrespect you just because you got a certain name about yourself. And I say that because I put myself in that situation when I went to TNA. I had guys like Samoa Joe, I had guys like AJ Styles, I had Rude, freaking Jay Lethal. I had a lot of young guys under me. And I talked to all of those guys, and I said, man, I'm here to help you guys more than anything. If I could do anything to help you, that's what I'm here for. And I'm going to tell you right now, I bet you any kind of money, man. I bet you any kind of money if you went and talked to either one of those guys and asked them what kind of person Booker T was in TNA with them and what did I do for them, they're all going to say, man, Book was a leader, man. Book was a general. He was an OG. He made sure everybody ate, and I'm going to tell you right now, and that's a true statement. That, a lot of people, inside the company might have hated on me a little bit when I left there. But all of those young guys, they're going to say, Booker T made sure all of us ate. You know what I mean? Awesome Kong. She'll tell you, Booker T made sure everybody, and that's what CM Punk, and sometimes that's not a job that you really want. Because you just want to get there. You want to make your money. You know what I mean? You want to, have your matches. You know what I mean? But sometimes when you get thrust in that position, man, it's not. You have no choice. That's just the task that's thrust upon you, and it's according to how you take it. That's just me.
Well, I mean, for those of you who don't know, in the press conference, it started off with no question being asked. CM Punk just going into a tirade against one of the journalists in the room, Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc.
And the thing is, in Punk's defense, I've gone off on Nick Hausman several times.
But at least it was prompted.
I'm just saying. I just want to get that out there.
But he starts going after Nick, talking about Nick having a relationship with Colt Cabana back in the day. They're all located in Chicago, and CM Punk was mad about the journalist. Now, it has been long rumored and reported that CM Punk is not a fan of Colt Cabana after their lawsuit from his comments made on the Art of Wrestling podcast at WWE. The lawsuits came. Lawsuits were going everywhere. They fell out of favor with each other. CM Punk comes to AEW. Colt Cabana's role thereafter was lessened, and then he was moved over to Ring of Honor. Whether that was at Punk's behest or not, those are the facts of what happened. It was reported that Punk had an influence on that, whether directly or indirectly, and that's what CM Punk seemed to be upset about. He alleged that that some of the staff at AEW, he alleged that they leaked the story.
Sabotage.
They sabotaged. I mean, I don't know if we want to go to a clip of it, but we have several clips that we can go to from this press conference. His manner, though, Book. I'm not saying we're going to talk about Kenny and the Bucks and Adam Page and all them, but the manner in which CM Punk conducted himself was not of a locker room leader, was not of a world champion, was not even of a professional wrestler or any otherwise, in my opinion. Do you agree with that or not?
I'm not going to go as far as to say that, because you got to understand, I'm all about me in the perception of the people that's watching. Okay, and if you put me in a situation like in a press squad like that, to where I'm shooting and I'm in character, I might shoot on everybody in the company and say something. You might have to take the microphone from me. Seriously. So I can't blame CM Punk for taking that situation and running with it. But him being put in that situation, you got to, throw blame where it should be at. Because I'm in character right now and I'm the world champ. I ain't got time to be thinking about these crybabies. I ain't got time to be thinking about these guys running around thinking about their weight. I ain't got time to. I'm just saying.
That's what you would do in character. But CM Punk was not in character.
Well, but the thing is, you don't know when you're in character and when you're not. You know what I mean? It's a very, very thin line. It's a blurred line sometimes when you're in a situation like that. So,
well, you think he's going to work an angle with Colt Cabana coming up?
Maybe not, but in his mind, he might be thinking, man, I'm getting more people to watch the show. Man, everybody's talking about this. Man, you never know what's going on in one's mind. Seriously, okay. Am I right or wrong here?
I mean, you never know what's going on in somebody's mind. Yeah, sure.
You never know.
That's right.
You never know what someone is really, really thinking. Just because I thought the thing with him and Hangman Page in the beginning, I thought it was an angle. When Hangman Page said, I'm here to save the company from you, that looked like a promo to me.
It felt like a promo.
It was so corny. It was the corniest thing I had ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have got mad at, I might have started laughing immediately. You know what I mean? And go, man, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I mean? Just because I don't know what you're talking about. So let's get back on track here. So my thing is, man, as far as, in character or not, being put in a situation like that, being the first guy out, being the first one to talk, and everything blow up the way it did, maybe it's something that that's been lingering. Maybe it's been something that he's been wanting to blow out for quite some time. And I know we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this for the rest of the show, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. You're worth it.
13 years, the King of Solar Screens has been an industry leader, and we proudly use 100% American-made products. Home of the $55 any size, any color solar screen.
Well, what about arches?
$55.
What about circles?
$55.
What about rectangles?
$55.
Any size, any color, installed free. The King of Solar Screens, on time, every time.
Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with my man Brad Gilmore. And my thing is this, guy. I know. For a minute, you just came in. You might have came in on the tail end. It might sound like I'm defending CM Punk. I'm not. Okay, I'm not.
Let's just get that clear.
I'm not defending CM Punk, but giving him the benefit of the doubt. Now, if it was all true, if it was a shoot, if that's the way he really felt, my thing is this, man. I'm not here to let the fans in on what we got going on personally. I don't. The fans don't need to know if I got a beef with any of these guys in the back. No, I'm serious. That ain't something that I think is professional. Like you said a minute ago, it was definitely not professional. If I got a beef with Hangman Adam Page for saying what he said, I'm gonna deal with it one-on-one in the locker room. And if we got to fight about it, we'll fight about it. Whatever we got to do to get it off our chest, we'll do it. If I got a problem with the Young Bucks, I'm going to tell those guys to their face. I'm not going to. It's not something for the world to really know, unless you just want them to know it. Unless you just want the fans to know, hey man, I don't, I don't like these guys. Okay, why do they have to know that? I don't know. Maybe to create more of an image to where, it gets more heat going between us when we're working. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the thought process anyway. But for business purposes and business purposes only, it's just like I got a worker, just say, for instance, if I had the Undertaker and he was working a day, and he was on my television, and then next thing you know, he wanted to go on Twitch, and go outside of the boundaries of what we're trying to do with him on television. It will be a problem. And in this situation right here, going into a situation like this, creating something like this, if it's real, it will be a problem.
I mean, but I feel like there's no benefit of it not being, of it being a work, in my opinion, right? I know it's wrestling.
A lot of people think that. A lot of people say, man, this is a work, man.
Half of our chat right now says it's a work. Half of it says it's not a work.
I mean, so I've heard so many people say that, but I'm speaking like literally from a promoter standpoint, from a worker standpoint that has been doing this for quite some time. And I do know AEW has changed the game a little bit as far as the way fans are to look at, wrestling and I get it. Maybe this is part of it. I have no idea, but I do know, watching the show, you could tell, certain guys don't really, actually get along with each other.
How about we take a look at something that was said in the post-fight press conference? You said guys who don't really like one another. Again, a lot of this stemmed from the issues with Hangman Adam Page when he was the world champion and CM Punk. These were CM Punk's comments regarding Hangman Adam Page at the AEW presser.
But what did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed, dumb like Hangman Adam Page to go out on national television and fucking go into business for himself? For what? What did I do? Dave, what did I ever do?
You tell me.
Didn't do a damn thing.
I made it really clear in Forbes, and I just want to make it clear again. Nick,
it's not his position to make it very clear. There's people who call themselves EVPs, that should have known better. It's none of their business. I understand sticking up for your friends. I get it. I stuck up for that guy more than anybody. Okay? I paid his bills until I didn't, and it was my decision not to.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have no commented when Nick first said it. It's my fault, and if I hadn't, it's my fault. It's my fault.
I appreciate
I
that.
should have just taken it head on because you never said
But I'm trying
anything.
to run a business, and when somebody who hasn't done a damn thing in this business jeopardizes the first $1 million house that this company has ever drawn off of my back and goes on national television and does that, it's a disgrace to this industry, it's a disgrace to this company. Now, we're far beyond apologies, right? I gave him a chance. It did not get handled, and you saw what I had to do, which was very regrettable, lowering myself to his level. But that's where we're at right now. And I will still walk up and down this hallway and say, if you have a problem with me, take it up with me. Let's go. What's your question, Nick?
Well, there you have it. What's your question, Nick?
Hey,
That seems like a step over the line.
Hey man, if the guys in the locker room, listened to it and deciphered it the way I would have deciphered it if I was one of those guys in the locker room, he'll be fighting every time he walked through the locker room.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, I'm walking down the hallway. Every time he came through the hallway, he'd be in a fight. Every time I saw him, he'd be in a fight. It would be no way we could coexist together. If I was the top guy in that company, we would have to have a fight. I'm just saying. Literally. I'm serious. I don't know why. That's just the nature of the beast.
But what specifically did he say that you would have taken?
Well, if it's real, because it's a thing in the business, with a guy, the top guy, draw a house and we always would go, hey man, thanks for the house, man. But it was a thing out of respect. The guy that was at the top of the card, he never came up to us and said, hey man, I drew the house tonight. Y'all can thank me.
So and CM Punk said the first $1 million gate off of my back.
Exactly. And those guys been there working their asses off. They've been working their asses off. And then to have to hear that, I would take liberty. Oh man, I really would. Because there again, it's not something that the fans need to be privy to as far as, real feelings like that. Because if that's the way you really feel, man, we would really have a problem if that's the way you really felt. Now, if it's an angle, everything's wide open, you know what I mean? But if it's not, like I say, we would have a problem. I know, if I felt like that with any of my peers, I've never felt like that with any of my peers that I've ever had to work with. Where I thought, man, I want to fight the guy. I saw Bobby Fish called him out to a fight. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I'm sure Bobby Fish called him out to a fight after hearing words like that, because Bobby Fish is a guy who said, man, I can fight. I can protect, but you want to fight? I'll fight you. So, in essence, those are fighting words. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
1,000%. That's what I mean. No diss to CM Punk or anything like that, but I know I would want to fight him. I'm serious. Just because, you took it there, and I didn't think it need to be taken there, because there again, you're someone in a leadership perspective, but when you're in a leadership perspective of leadership position, you got to act like it. Some things you just got to let blow over. Some things you just got to let go over your head. Some things you, like I say, you got to pull the person aside and say, hey man, let me talk to you for a second. Hey man, do you really think I feel that way? You know what I mean? And really get into the person's head, just like I did with those guys in TNA. I didn't want those guys to think I was coming in there big shotting them because I was Booker T. And you could ask each and every one of them. AJ Styles is one of my guys. He's like one of my students. I look at him as, because I knew I was there to help try to teach him something. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you ask AJ, he'll tell you what I taught him more than anything. But I'm sure, I could have went in there and big shot at all those guys, but I wouldn't have gained anything from that, and we wouldn't have even had a chance to win by having that kind of attitude. Some things you got to be able to say, man, I'm bigger than that. Just like you say, he lowered himself to, Hangman's level. I say with young people, sometimes you got to be able to go down to their level in order to be able to bring them up to your level.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem though as CM. It doesn't seem like from what he said, CM Punk did that to bring Hangman Adam Page up to his level. It sounded like he said, okay, this is how you want to do it. I'm going to send you this receipt. It just confirmed everything that we heard originally, that was a quote unquote receipt for the disrespect he got from Hangman Adam Page. And I just, these are the problems.
As well as the diatribe about Colt Cabana. I mean, me personally, I don't need to. That's stuff that I really don't need to know. As far as the personal issues with Colt Cabana, because that all of that stuff that he was talking about was personal. And when you bring my mama's name up, you got a problem.
And here's the thing too. This is why I think you and I may have been a little bit more triggered than that, because your mother-in-law's name is Marsha. My mother's name is Marsha, and that's what he said. See, Colt Cabana's name was. Oh man, triggered me a little bit.
When you bring my mother's name up, just to bring it up, it's a problem. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff is personal, and it's so hard to get past stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's almost like, Lindsey Graham. I was just playing.
Not sure. Oh, I think I picked up on that.
Oh, what it is, guys that just get talked about. Nobody does anything. Nobody fights back. Ted Cruz, but I know people hate politics, but I'm just throwing it out there. Sometimes somebody talk about my mama, talk about my daddy, my wife, somebody getting their ass whooping. I'm serious. It's just that simple. So in this situation right here, it's definitely something that's it's got to have. I saw somebody said that Booker T said AEW need an intervention. I didn't say that, but I'm saying it now.
They need something. But look, we're going to go to a quick break. We have more from the CM Punk press conference that I want to play it and break down. And then we talk about what happened once he got off stage here inside the Hall of Fame. We got to talk about it.
Allegedly. Yeah, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. See what Harlem Heat, it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the fame. It was about the reckoning.
Edge, you have a big match tonight. Tell me, what's going on in your mind?
This is summer. Hey, kid. Did a good job out there, man. Maybe next time, though. Hey, what do you know about it next time? What, are you crazy? Jump up. Back up. Hey, back up. I'm going to lost your mind. Come on. Come on. I got your number.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ, along with my man Brad Gilmore. We just chopping it up, man, about this AEW presser that they had over the weekend that went totally left. But that's the way the business is sometimes, man. It's wild. It's like the wild, wild west. What else you want to go with this thing, man? What do you?
Look, it continued on. I mean, he was up there for 20 plus minutes talking, everything that he wanted to get out, like you said. Why don't we take another look? This was CM Punk at the post-fight press conference, also talking about the Young Bucks and more.
I'm not going to comment on it.
You go down.
Oh, thank you.
I'll tell you why I'm upset about it, is because if you're an EVP, you don't try to middle your top babyface. try to get your niche audience that's on the internet to hate him for some made up rumor. Really pisses me off. Stepping on your own, trying to, make money, sell tickets, fill arenas, and these stupid guys think they're in Reseda.
Of course, referring to Reseda being where PWG was held, and talking about Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and the like. You seem to think that was a little funny on that one. You had a little giggle there going.
No, man. It was funny about it is again, man, it's terms that's being used, the top baby face, stuff like that, me personally, I'm a huge fan of, the mind freak Chris Angel.
Mm-hmm.
He just talked about how he did his tricks all the time. I talked about how everything worked. I don't think I'd want to see him. I don't think he would have had his own special and all. I don't think he would have his, his night in Vegas. I don't think any of that would be possible. This business has gone so far into the crap bin. It's not even funny when I hear stuff like that, because there again, I teach my students how to go out and, how to get through a match without the fans knowing their tricks. And when I hear talk like this, it just let me know how far, the business, has gone in the opposite direction that it should be going. And it's because guys don't care about the tradition of the business. They don't understand the respect of keeping certain parts of our business, still somewhat sacred. And I know this business is wide open now. I know everybody know what it is. And my thing is this: for them to talk about it, it's perfectly fine. But for us to talk about it, that's when things, totally, for me, man, it's like a sharp knife, and it just wow, just makes me go wow.
Well, one of those guys who's first helped put AEW on the map was Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho had a match at All Out with Bryan Danielson. I mean, two of the best, of their generations, respectively.
Question: do you see Chris Jericho out there talking like this?
No.
Do you? I mean, he threw a shot at WWE. He'll throw a shot at Hunter. You know what I mean? But he ain't been. He's not going to be out there talking about. He knows how detrimental this is to that company. That's why he's not saying anything.
Well, you know what? I'm glad that you brought that up, because he was asked about it, though, at the press conference. And here's what Chris Jericho had to say regarding the whole locker room turmoil.
Nick Hausman, Wrestling Inc. I asked Tony about this earlier this week, but there was the mandatory Backstage talent meeting that Tony confirmed happened. Reportedly, you spoke at that meeting, Chris. I was just wondering if you could tell us what you said to the roster and, what kind of advice you're giving to talent and management right now at this period in AEW.
The specifics don't need to be discussed, even though you can read them online, and that was one of the things that was discussed. Don't leak. That's supposed to be private amongst us. But I think that my message always is to remind people how special AEW is. And don't take that for granted, like swearing and that sort of thing. Like, all it takes is the wrong guy to see somebody say or whatever the hell it is, and they're going to go, done. It happens. We know this. So I always want to remind guys that please don't ruin or potentially ruin this amazing world that we've created.
We don't want guys going into business for themselves.
We don't, and we
or
can't.
Girls.
And where I came from, working for Vince for 20 years, that was unacceptable. It would never happen. And I'm just trying to let people know that we're getting to the point now where these types of things are unacceptable as well. And we will start, doing things that Tony would do if in the NFL or with Fulham. And we are a pro sports, multi-million-dollar company with a huge television contract, with another huge television contract coming up soon. So a lot of guys don't have that experience and don't realize just how special this is. So that's what I try and do whenever we have these types of meetings. And I have them, and Tony has them. We used to have them a lot more, but now it's a little more frequent. Just to remind guys, stay on course.
I mean,
look, Chris Jericho don't know what the hell he talking about. Who's going to listen to him? Guys, he's old. He's outdated. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's wrong. I'm just telling you, man. Don't listen to that dude.
He knows nothing.
He knows nothing. Last person you need to be trying to listen to is Chris Jericho. I know he's got a nice do, his coif looking real nice. He's got the nice, he's looking good. But do not listen. I'm just playing. I agree 1,000% with what Chris Jericho said, man. And he's the smartest guy in the room, man. You can see how frustrated he was with it. He held it in very, very well. But you can really see how frustrated he is with those guys around there because you don't realize how good it was until it's gone. That's what he's saying. That's what Chris is saying. Man, you guys better wise up because y'all got such a good thing going here. And one thing about the boys, they screw every damn thing up, bro. They screw it, no matter what it is, they will screw it up. My first trip to Japan, nice little spot next door, to the Tokyo Inn, little restaurant there. We would go there, get nice, breakfast, eggs, bacon, nice big, thick Texas toast, nice cup of coffee, man. It was perfect. It was perfect. Woke up one day, I went over there, no more Americans, no more. I'm like, what the hell happened? You know what I mean? One of the Americans screwed it up. Then the Tokyo Inn, next thing you know, okay, I'm not going to even say his name, but he broke into, they had these beer machines, and they would have them in the hallway at the hotel, a beer machine, where you could go just like a Coke machine, right? One of the guys broke in the beer machine, stole every beer out of the beer machine, right? Kicked us out of the hotel. And the next hotel we was in was such a small hotel, man. You could stick both hands out and touch the wall. That's how bad it was. We was in a pretty, but what my point is, the boys will screw it up in a heartbeat. They will mess it up on purpose, seem like. And that is what Chris Jericho is talking about.
Yeah, and he's just, it's interesting that Tony spoke up in the moment and said, guys, we don't want guys going in business for himself because that's what the whole press conference at the beginning was. And Tony does bear responsibility, and I'm sure he knows that.
Look, man, Tony was in a situation right there. He didn't know what to do. He was caught off guard. I'm sure, he wished he perhaps could have handled it a lot differently, but to be told to shut the hell up, in essence, gotta feel a certain way when you go back and look at it.
Yeah, he had enough facial reactions to populate a whole new genre and category of gifs. Like he had every reaction. He went through the gambit of emotions. I agree with everything Jericho said. It's a damn shame that less than a week after you have a talent meeting to address all the issues in the locker room, CM Punk wants to talk about how the Young Bucks and Omega can't, keep from stepping on their own business, right? And kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Well, he did the same damn thing.
Well,
he's just as guilty.
He did the exact same thing, so he's just as guilty. That's what I'm talking about, man. Sometimes, and I heard him say, he's been quiet long enough, and maybe that was it. Maybe these guys really feel a certain way about each other, and that's a problem. That's a huge problem that they're going to have to fix if they want to do anything with the company. They're going to have to fix that. And the question is, how do they do that? How do they do it?
Well, if it had stopped there, perhaps we could have had a resolution to this. Maybe we could have sat down like men and talked about this whole thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, it did not stop there. The words were exchanged this time in private, but fists were thrown, hair was pulled, eyes were blackened, and people were bit. Bit. Somebody got bit.
Somebody got Mike Tyson.
Somebody got bit by another grown man.
We got to take a break, man. We got to take a break before we get into this, man, because I got to find out who bit who. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, and Diego De La Cruz now, obviously the veteran here between the two. Wait a minute. Oh. Let's hit the head showing us what he's got. Oh my gosh, cover 1, 2, and oh man. Aiden Cristiano there, and now it's Bedlam. It's Bedlam. It's a brawl. It's a brawl here at the Summer of Champions. Damn popcorn. Go keto.
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with my man Brad Gilmore. And I know you want to talk about something before we took a break. What was it?
Well, we want to talk about what happened after the post-fight press conference.
The aftermath.
Because there was a post-fight after the post-fight press conference. And it involved, allegedly, let's just say allegedly to cover everybody's tail here. Yeah. It involved allegedly the Elite, collectively known as the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and then Ace Steel and CM Punk. I can read to you the account of what happened if you would like, Book. You want to know what happened?
You can give me a brief synopsis. How about that?
I'll give you a brief synopsis. It says, this is according to Fightful Select, after the scrum, the Young Bucks were approached Punk's locker room, and CM Punk wasn't answering the door because he had been in a long, bloodied match finished with an emotional scrum. The Bucks were to
wait a minute. So let me paint this picture. So the Young Bucks go to the locker room. They banging on the door. Boom, 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 boom. CM Punk. Boom, 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 boom. Punk, you in there? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, keep it going.
The Bucks were said to pound it on the door with claims that they eventually kicked the door down.
Just bam, just almost like a home invasion type. Bam, just kick the door in.
Kick the door in.
And bum rush CM Punk.
Now, let me say, this is CM Punk and Ace Steel's side of the story, allegedly. Ace Steel's wife was in the room, which is what Steel had told people set him off and made him go ballistic. He started throwing chairs and even ended up biting someone. The claim made from him was that he was looking out for his wife above anything else. Omega didn't seem nearly as upset initially, but then things got out of hand when he ended up getting bitten by Ace Steel. We're told the fight was a very long altercation and that all the talk back and forth did not stop after the brawl. CM Punk, during the brawl, is rumored to have injured his tricep.
That's enough right there. First of all, and I'm not playing. Who the hell is Ace Steel? I'm serious. I'm not playing, man. I don't want no heat for that. Is he a worker?
Ace Steel, yeah. He's I don't think he's on the show. I think he's a producer backstage, but he's also the guy that trained CM Punk.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to figure. I didn't want to diss nobody or nothing, but I wondered, is he a worker? Is he one of the guys that was on the pay-per-view or what? You know what I mean? Because this is the first time I've heard of Ace Steel. It's a lot of stuff, man. That's a lot of stuff right there for, you know, if the altercation actually went down like that. Hey, man, you know, no cameras was around. You know, that kind of like they make it has a little bit more feel that, you know, perhaps it was real. They did show the security guard exiting the stage, right? Perhaps when it
Yeah,
was
you're
happening.
running to the back.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that. But hey, man, if they didn't shoot it, you know, it got a real feel to me. I don't know how serious the fight got. I don't know how, you know, heavy the confrontation was or anything like that. I heard somebody got a black eye. I don't know how someone got a black eye. I heard somebody got hit with a chair too. I heard that too. So
I think it
hey,
was
man,
Nick Jackson, I believe, was hit with a chair and got a black eye.
yeah, man. You got to. How do we fix this? How do we fix it? What do we do? What do we do now? I think that's the question right there. I think that's the question. Somebody got to step up and do something, and they're gonna have to do it quick because they're in a situation that I can almost imagine that they wouldn't have never imagined being in 3 years in, having these kind of problems.
These are major issues. These aren't, oh, hey, these two guys don't like each other. Because, Book, you know, you've worked in this industry for a very long time. And I think anybody watching this stream right now, either if you're in the United States, if you're around the world, you have worked with somebody who you do not like, who is not at the top of your Christmas list every year, right? But you know your job, the thing that you were hired for, the thing that they pay you money for, isn't to like everybody in the locker room. It's to do your job, right?
You know,
And go ahead.
People can say what they want to say about Batista and I, and the altercation him and I had back in the day. It was a serious altercation, as serious as any altercation could ever be, seriously. But it was not one day that I didn't think that I couldn't work with Batista. It wasn't a day that I ever thought like that. You know, it was like, you know, okay, we had an altercation. You know, it was a fight. You know, I think I got my respect out of it. I think he realized, hey, man, maybe I shouldn't talk to Booker T a certain way, and we it was like water under the bridge. You know, it was one of those type of deals, but it wasn't like, you know, to this day I'm holding animosity for him because of him and I had an altercation. You know, and that's where it's different with something like this. It's like a personal thing. You know what I mean? It's like a personal thing to where you got to figure out. That's why I say it's going to be hard to get past it, because just listening to some of the words that were said in the press scrum, it makes me as a worker that's on the roster feel a certain way. And we got to go to catering together. We got to talk with each other. We got to go over matches together. We got to come up with ideas. It could get real, and you're not going to be doing that with, you know. I was listening to how he said, you know, him and John Moxley, you know, got some kind of feel a kinship because of, you know, they went through something as well as you know, Castagnoli. You know, work. You're not going to be able to work with those guys. That's not going to work. You're not going to just be able to work with WWE guys and be happy. You know what I mean? So that's not going to work. So I'm just trying to figure out where does this thing end at the end of the day.
I'll say this. I mean, they suspended Eddie Kingston for much less, right? Eddie Kingston allegedly, you know, grazed the face of Sammy Guevara, and those are Sammy's words. And he was suspended for 2 weeks. So I think that's if I'm looking at it, that's where we start, because you can't allow this to go on. Like, you can't allow it to happen. You can't allow. Guess what? In this altercation, 4 of these guys in the altercation are all champions representing your company. 3 of them have the title of executive vice president of your company. This cannot be allowed to continue on. There has to be punishments levied. What are those punishments? There are rumors everywhere, Booker. People are saying that CM Punk might be released. I think that would be, honestly,
it's extreme.
I think that he's completely in the wrong, but I think that's too far. Personally.
Yeah.
I think that's an extreme motion. I think if you do let go of anybody, and I'm not ever rooting for anyone to lose their job, if you let go of anybody,
you gotta let Colt go.
let Colt go. Let Colt go. No, you gotta let go of that Ace Steel guy. You know,
Wait a minute. What did Ace Steel do?
He bit Kenny Omega.
You can't let Ace Steel go.
He bit a grown man on the arm. He bit him.
You cannot let Ace Steel go, man. That's a damn shame. You go after the lowest guy on the totem pole, Ace Steel.
Yo, I mean, Punk was the one throwing fists. You know what I mean? I don't know if they connected, but he was throwing them. But he didn't bite somebody. You know what I mean? I don't. And then Ace Steel just got fined like a week ago because he dropped the F-bomb on TV. Right? I don't know if this is a guy. I don't know him from Adam.
They might have to let him go. Like I said, I didn't know.
He might.
I didn't know who Ace Steel was. I was just wondering. I thought he was a worker. Yeah.
Well, there's got to be some sort of suspensions at the very least, right? Or a fine.
You would imagine. You would think.
Fines and suspensions, and then let's figure out a way to get the. He's got to. Here's the thing. He's got to lose the title too, right? Like you can't let him be the world champion.
Hey man, I ain't gonna book the show or anything like that. I just know it's a bad look on AEW. If it's a shoot, if it's any reality in this, it's just not a good look for that company because they got a lot of good things going, but something like this, just like Chris Jericho was talking about, it could really shift the tide when you got fighting from an inner perspective like that, because Young Bucks talent. Okay. And at one point, those guys, had that tag team division on fire. They was going out there doing some really, really crazy stuff with the Lucha Brothers, and I was like, man, I didn't realize that these guys could really, really work from this perspective. Kenny Omega is another guy who's, mega talented. Guy can go out there and perform at a very, very high level. CM Punk, he's their draw. He's their top baby face. He said it himself.
They drew $1 million on his back.
They drew $1 million on his back. He just said that. Can you imagine if those guys were pulling the same way at the same time? Can you imagine if they were actually? You would think. But when personal agenda come into play, when personal beefs come into play, like this thing with Colt Cabana, it should be 8 years past. We shouldn't even be talking about that anymore. Right? I mean, at least not on this show. On this show, if I'm not finna defend the title against Colt Cabana, I shouldn't even have a word to say about Colt Cabana. And I don't think I'm finna bring him in the title picture. So why bring up Colt? So that's what I'm saying. That's personal. Okay. And a lot of that at that presser was personal. And I just think there again, if those guys were working together, they'd be much, much stronger at this point.
Look, yeah, I mean, we all are trying to row the same way at the same time, to get this thing off the ground. And a lot of the guys have done that. I saw, some people saying CM Punk is, in a lot of ways like what Hulk Hogan was to WCW. And I don't know if I agree with that. But I will say from the moment he came in, the conversation has shifted on AEW, and it hasn't shifted for the better. Because after he came in, literally, we're talking months later, who left? Cody. Cody said, I'm getting out of here.
Cody said time is right. You know what I mean? It's like when Hogan and those guys came into TNA. It was time for me to get the hell up out of there. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
What's going on? It's WWE superstar Apollo Crews here. I just want to talk for a minute about what the Indies meant to me. traveled up and down the road for a long time, and they meant so much to me. It was a huge part of getting me to where I am today, and that is a part of the WWE. I actually did some work with Booker in Houston, drove from Atlanta. Those drives, I feel like those drives that we take, 14-hour drives, those type of things develop some kind of character in you that you can't find anywhere else. The Indies mean a lot to me. Got to travel to Japan, Europe, UK, toured all over, and for me it was just a huge part of helping me become the superstar that I am today. So I'm very grateful that I got to experience the Indies, and that's it for me.
What's up, this Booker T, two-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out The Shine, checking out The Gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the hall, guys. We talking everything. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always, man. Can't do without him. But it's about the people. It's about what you guys want more so than anything, Brad. And I know the super chatters are waiting, man. I know the super chatters are waiting.
Super chatters are definitely waiting. But before we get there, I just want to do one more clip because there was another kind of moment of this that was kind of, I don't know, not buried. I don't think people have talked about it, though, as much. And Tony Khan, we actually talked about it last week on the show. Tony said that he wasn't happy with the way that he had been treated by the WWE. You remember we had this conversation?
Yeah.
And he didn't go into specifics. Well, at the post-fight press conference, he did go into specifics. He had some real odd comments about WWE running shows the same weekend. Let's take a listen real quick.
I wanted to ask about kind of a follow-up about your comments about alluding to contract tampering. You were also asked about a potential WWE AEW Super Show, and you said not after the way they treated me. What happened when you say something like that? How were you treated? What was the exchange there with WWE?
I've had a number of interactions with them, and I'm not. I was super. I've said a lot of nice stuff, and I don't regret saying nice stuff because I'm super honest about pro wrestling. And when I saw good stuff happening there, I'll be the first to say it. But yeah, I just am not feeling the same love.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't want to get into it, but I just haven't felt the same reciprocation that I have for them. When I compare myself to Jim Crockett Promotions this weekend, I think I got a taste of the same medicine Jim Crockett Promotions took. But I have a lot more money than Jim Crockett did, and I'm serious. I'm not going to sit back and take.
There you go. Not pleased. Not pleased in any way by WWE running the same night. He said last year we were the first show on Labor Day. This year we were the third show, and I don't think that that's a coincidence. He went on to allude that WWE is doing things intentionally to mess with him. My reaction to it is, and
I'm like, how many times have WWE been referenced on that show? How many times?
At least once a week.
I mean, that's like, come on. And now come on, don't ask for it. And then when you get it, you complain about it, So I really don't know what that was about, honestly. WWE is gonna, if they could compete with them and put a show on, it's a big mega show like they did in Cardiff and draw 62,000, and you guys are putting your biggest show on of the year, and this is just a show that we're just putting together. It just goes to show that if you just stay in your lane, I think everybody would be happy. But I think all the WWE talk, taking all the ex-WWE guys and really trying to, build the company off that and not just say that's the way you're building the company, making it seem like this is something totally new. I don't know. It makes you look a certain way. Let's just say that. It makes you look a certain way. If you want to fight, let's get into war and we fight. Whoever come out standing at the end of the day, that's going to determine who's the winner is. I think Al Capone said something like that.
And if he did, he's right on the money. I think that if if you want to challenge somebody, right? How many times has AEW gloated the fact that they won the NXT Wednesday night battle, right?
All the 18 to 49 demographic. I mean,
right?
How many times have we heard?
They should gloat about it. I mean, if it's a stat that they're proud of, gloat about it by all means. But if the competition says, okay, that's cute, we hear you, guess what we're going to do? We're going to run a show with 65,000 people in Cardiff the night before you and set the bar for the weekend. And if you are bothered by that, then I don't think that you understand how a competition works. This is chess, not checkers.
Hey man,
and Tony Khan's been in professional sports for a long time.
Yeah,
and you would think that he would be aware of that. Now, I have a lot more effing money than Jim Crockett, and I'm not going to stand for this effing S. I don't know why he wanted to get all that bass in his chest at that particular moment. Do his Tonyisms. But again, you look weak for doing that. You look like you're number 2 when you do that. When you start just saying, "Oh, I'm not going to stand for this effing stuff. I got a lot more money than you. I'm richer than you are." Okay, then put all your money into it. Put it all on the table. Do what you got to do.
There again, I think if that thing was, at the end of the night, the way they wanted, the way Tony Khan wanted it to go, I think the questions would have been about how great these matches were. How great this show was. But for the presser to be anything but about what happened on the pay-per-view, man, do that sound strange to you?
It sounds nuts.
I mean, I'm just keeping it real right now. I mean, that sounds really, really strange to me. For none of the questions were about how great the matches were or anything like that. I mean, well, the after talk is not about anything that happened on that pay-per-view. Not one thing that happened on that pay-per-view is being talked about. And that's strange to me.
It's very odd, which is why you hopefully, I don't know if AEW does this or not, but hopefully you're media training your wrestlers. Because I know because I've interviewed WWE talent and I've seen you do it on this show. You can take a question that I might ask you, and then you're going to give the answer that you want to give to get to the place that we're trying to go, right?
Exactly.
If I ask you
get to the place where I want to go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, if I ask you about, we're supposed to be talking about WrestleMania, and I ask you about, your fight with Batista, just to reference something from earlier, you're going to be saying, like, oh, you know what? But we couldn't rumble any better than we could at WrestleMania at the biggest stage of them all. Yeah. I mean,
you got to know how to promote the event, opposed to letting that a reporter, make you talk about something that he wants to write about.
Because that's his job, and it's your job to promote your brand and event.
Exactly. Yeah, but
it was an embarrassment, Book. This whole presser was an embarrassment. Aside from the shimmering glimpse of sanity from Chris Jericho, by and large, this post-press conference was embarrassing for AEW on their biggest night of the year.
I'm gonna let you say that, man. I ain't gonna say
I'll say it. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you say that. But it wasn't a good night. It definitely wasn't a good night. Legit. I definitely can say that. It was not a good look from the CM Punk talk, as well as the Tony Khan talk. Like you say, Chris Jericho was the only sane adult mind in the room.
Yeah. Period, bar none. End of story. We want to appreciate it. We appreciate everybody right now here in the chat. We do have a bevy of super chat questions to get to, and Book, we're going to answer all of them as soon as I scroll up to the top. Right now, we have about 2,200 of you watching live, so we really appreciate that. Shout out where you are in the chat. Shout out where you are in the world. We always like to see where people are listening or watching us from. It's taking me a while to scroll up to the top of this chat room today because we have a bunch of chats, Book. I mean, we're real quick live.
You know what? Before we get to the chats, man, I know we got to take a break here in a minute. People always want to talk about how I hate on CM Punk. I'm not here as a talking head to hate on anybody out there. Any of these guys doing their work. The last thing that I'm gonna do is hate on them. I was talking about CM Punk just a few days ago, and I went out of my way to make sure I don't spew any kind of negative hate towards CM Punk or anything. Even talking today, I'm not speaking from anything other than a perspective to where that I've been in as far as this wrestling business, being in a leadership position, trying to handle situations certain ways, but throwing that one bit of shade on CM Punk as a man at all. So I just want to put that out there because I'm not the one to hate on anyone. If I got something to say to somebody, I'm gonna say it in their damn face. I ain't gonna talk about it on social media. I ain't gonna tweet about it, Instagram about it. I'm gonna run up on you.
These are cold facts.
I just want to get that out there.
Let's see. We'll take a couple super chats before the break. We're gonna have to get through all of these, so we're gonna have to do this a little bit expeditiously. Mike Mayfield says, "I can't wait to see your face when Gaspar turns his back on you for Team Charmel."
Man, why would Gaspar turn his back on me? Do you know how much money I'm paying Gaspar? Do you know that Gaspar is sitting under the learn? Gaspar is going to be a big star in this business. And you know who's going to lead him there? You know who's going to lead him to the promised land? You know who's going to lead him to the end of the rainbow? Me, Booker T. That's who's going to do it. So don't ever think for 1 second. Don't even sleep. Don't even dream that Gaspar would turn his back on Booker T.
There you go. Kai Tonio says, Wales crowd was off the chain electric. It says WWE. Sorry, my computer's freaking out on me. If you can finish that super chat, book, I can't read it here.
WWE sucked the life out of the business. I thought Triple H was going to change things, but no title change. Shocked. Hey, man, I get it. I get it. I know a lot of people thought the title was going to change at that pay-per-view. And I said it. Everybody loved everything pretty much about that pay-per-view except the ending. Drew McIntyre is going to get his just due. It just wasn't his time right now. And I get it. I understand it. But did those guys go out there and perform at the highest level and give you people everything that you want in a fight? I think they did. I think they delivered on that. So I think you guys win at the end of the day on that.
Okay, and then last one before we go to a break real quick, Mike Mayfield says, did you ever leave or lose your wrestling gear before?
Nah, man, I've never left the house not shown up prepared at a wrestling event. I've never, left my stuff behind or anything like that. And nobody's never ripped me and took it and hit it and put a padlock on it or threw it in the river or anything like that, because it would have been an ass whooping coming if something like that happened. So, no, man, I always had my gear and I was always ready. Rick Martel forgot his gear, and that's how I won the television championship against Disco Inferno. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, with my man Brad Gilmore here from ESPN 97.5, 92.5, bringing you guys the truth. It's all about the people and giving the people what they want. I got my my dog in here with me, man. I got Rover in here with me, and he's just tearing up everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. But let's keep the super chats rolling, dog.
Let's keep them going. This one comes from the real Giannis. Honestly, if these guys want to show the world they are business, they need to use this as an angle. The Elite versus NWO type faction with TK and CM.
You know, I think it's too late to use it as a. And yeah, now then again, it's not too late to use it as an angle. I mean, if you're going to do it, you probably want to go that route, opposed to just, everybody flying by the seat of their pants right now and hoping that we land on our feet. That's not going to happen. You're not going to slip on a banana peel and become a successful company. And I think these guys definitely need to hone in, what they're doing right and try to stick with that, man. And get out of it. Get off Twitter. That'd be the first thing to do. Get off Twitter. Get off social media. Everybody.
Delete it. Get it out of here. Yeah, you're right. That's causing a lot of issues. The rumors, the circulation here on social media. This is from the Gav Nar, who says, Book called this. Too many chefs. How do you fix it?
Hey, man, I wasn't saying anything that wasn't just obvious, though, man. I've been in the business a long time, and I know how egos clash. Guys just don't get along. I don't care how much money I can tell you this: when you're making the most money, that's when the most clashes normally happen. You know what I mean? Just think about it for a second. You think Hulk Hogan in WCW? You think he was making more money than me?
I think so.
But he still wanted the title. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes sometimes, man, the egos will make you do things that in this business, I can't remember. I don't know if it was I think it's Warrior. He was talking about the guys in WWE at that time, and he was talking about Triple H, and he was saying, man, at that time, the guys that was on top was, Hogan, Savage, and me. You know what I mean? And so what I'm saying is a lot of them think about that pecking order, and they really take it serious, that pecking order. You know what I mean? So this is not anything that I haven't seen many, many times. That's the only reason I came up with that determination.
Yeah. I mean, you've been there and done that. It's almost like you should listen to the wrestling veterans. Elijah Vinn says, do you think Vince McMahon's going to come back?
You know what? I hope not. And I'm not saying that in a bad way or anything like that. I just wish the best for Vince McMahon, and hopefully he can enjoy the fruits of the labor, man. Enjoy life for a moment. Just take a seat back and take a seat back and just enjoy life. Take a vacation. You know what I mean? And that's something that I know Vince, throughout my time being around him, that was not on his agenda.
Right. It never was. He said, sleep is our enemy. And Lloyd Ivester says, Tony Khan should reach out to Vince McMahon. You think Tony should call Vince and say, what would you do?
I don't think that'll be a great conversation. I really don't. I think Vince McMahon still got a lot of, zeal in him he still might want to go off, get in a fight or something. So I just don't think that'd be a great idea.
Brooklyn Bride says, MJF return is big story. # and new AEW champion soon.
Hey, man, I love the fact that MJF is back. Okay. I'm a fan of MJF. I just don't think he was brought back, perhaps the way I would have brought him back. Okay. I think MJF definitely had a spotlight put on him, but why was the spotlight put on MJF from that perspective? That's the only thing I'm thinking about. But yeah, I'm glad MJF is back.
Positive Vibes Only says, will Punk's actions affect AEW's endorsements or sponsorships, I guess?
Well, what Chris Jericho was saying, man, it's just like when MJF did the promo, okay, and said everything that he said, and then was gone for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, now everybody in the building may have, just say for instance, everybody in the building signed off on it. Tony Khan, everybody, just say everybody, But the people that's, working at the television network, you think they signed off on it? You think somebody might see something and go, man, what the hell is going on here? You don't think that might happen? When stuff like that, when you just like Cowboys, Wild Wild West, and then next thing you know, the plug get pulled, and you don't even really realize why the plug is getting pulled. You don't think that kind of stuff has happened before? That's what this company needs to think about more than anything. And Chris Jericho was spot on. He was spot on. And hopefully those guys was listening because this is not romper room, okay? This is the big time.
Big time, baby. Alex Cosentino says the reports that CM Punk may have gotten injured during the fight. If you're TK, do you fire him if he's got to go on the shelf for an extended amount of time?
No, I don't think you fire him. I figure you figure out how to make this thing work. We figure out how to get back on track. CM Punk is the quarterback. You know what I mean? You normally don't fire the quarterback. You fire the coach before you fire the Tony Khan had to fire his damn self first before you think about doing something like that. You know what I mean? So no, you don't fire the quarterback. You figure out how to get everybody on the same page so we can start scoring some touchdowns, man. So we can get to the Super Bowl. That's what this thing is about. I'm just speaking in football terms, but I think that's where Tony Khan is big as that's going to be his biggest job. Try to figure out how do we fix it.
This is from Cali Toenail again, who says USA crowd's never been like Clash crowd. Why do you think that is? Like we in Cali, we not me act too cool, have fun. How can superstars change that?
Like in Wales, man, it's like, man, the heart grow fonder, man, when you ain't around a whole lot, man. You just can't wait to get out. And the people over in Wales, man, they drinking. I'm gonna tell you, I'm serious, man. They are getting good and lit, because it's a party, man. It's a party going on, and Drew McIntyre is gonna be. So everybody, man, you remember, Brad will tell you, and when we were in Vegas, we got ran out of Vegas. Tyson Fury, we got ran out of freaking Vegas with people from overseas, going crazy. You know what I mean? So the people over there, man, they're just different than we are over here, man, when it comes to partying. You know what I mean? So that's the only way I look at that. We over here, we party, but not like those guys over there. Trust me.
This is from Asino Dub, who says, hey, Book, I just moved to Texas and would like to experience working the production side of a wrestling show. Shooting my shot. Would you be down to let me shadow one of your row shows?
Hey, man, just show up. Show up and, if it's your first time, you're going to have to buy a ticket. And we'll get you, we'll set you up from there if you want to do some intern work. We got a show going down Saturday as well. If you want to come check it out, Gold Rush is the title. Gold Rush, and there's going to be a lot of action going down. New tag team called The Heat will be in the house, managed by none other than Booker T. It's going to be a great night, guys. So get your tickets, get them there, man. Yeah, do it now. I do it for you.
The Landlord Harassment Channel says next week Braun introduces his new manager, Booker T.
Man, I can still talk. That's one thing. But I wouldn't want to put myself in a managerial position or anything like that. Other than at reality wrestling, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. I can act as crazy as I want to act, and I can write the stories, and that's the best part. But nah, man, I'm not going to be on WWE TV as a manager anytime soon. At least I don't think. If they give me a call, if the money is right. The money is right. Trust me. I'm always available when I'm available.
Aslop Sanaba says, what would Booker T do if he were in charge? I guess regarding this situation. Yeah.
Of AEW?
Yeah.
Like I said, I would have an intervention. You know what I mean? Everybody would have to come to the table. And the one thing that everybody got to know that is, damn it, I'm in charge. And if somebody don't like that, they can walk out right there's the door. They can move right now. But if everybody don't understand that I'm running this show and this is the way we're going to do it going forward, and the thing is, in a meeting like that, I don't even really need to hear a whole lot of, it's not like a question and answer like situation. It's my way or the highway situation. Because right now we're playing with my money. That's the way I would deal with it. And that's just me. I'm not talking about Tony Khan or anything. That's the way I would deal with it. And if the guys that didn't want to play ball, they could take their ball and go home.
They take their ball and go the hill on home. This is from Kai Tonell. Punk put his hand up like he was stopping a dinosaur, talking about how he kind of interacted with Tony Khan at the press conference, which was interesting. Bernard Frederick, stop the bleeping madness, AEW. I know.
Hey, man.
The issue. I
feel the same way. If I was Tony Khan, I definitely would have handled that situation a little bit different. I think I would have handled that situation a little bit different. Maybe that presser needed to be shut down before it even got started. Maybe that was the right thing to do in that situation.
Perhaps.
But that's neither here nor there. We got to take a break. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Dan Miller, and I'm trained to be a professional wrestler here at Reality of Wrestling. Professional wrestling has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. Growing up, I would have the toys, I would have matches with stuffed animals, I had a little paper championship. I always had that voice in the back of my head saying, can you do this? Can you really be a pro wrestler? And one day that voice got so loud, I just had to know. So I did my research, and I found that Reality of Wrestling is the best training ground in the whole country. You could sit down and turn on the TV every night of the week to watch pro wrestling, and you'll see someone who got their start in this ring. Reality of Wrestling teaches you everything you need to know about the business, from putting together the ring to putting together a TV show. This is a place where you can come and work on your fundamentals, work on your body, work on your interview skills. This is a one-stop shop for everything pro wrestling. If you have that voice in the back of your head, now is the time to find out if you have what it takes here at Reality of Wrestling.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Bradley.
Sir.
We got any more super chats, man?
We do. This is from Now the World, who says, who the hell is Ace Steel? Book, you the man. You'd really never heard of Ace Steel? You had no idea?
No, I'm serious, man. I wasn't messing around or anything like that. I don't know who Ace Steel is, and everybody just Ace Steel did this, Ace Steel bit somebody, Ace Steel bit somebody else. I'm like, Ace kid. I mean, it's just crazy. Ace Steel just got himself. He made himself famous this week. Let's just say that.
He did. Black Snow and Cole says, Booker, we challenge you to a triple threat match.
I love the title there, man. Black Snow and Cole, man. That's pretty awesome. Keeping the memory of Black Snow alive, man. But get a real Black Snow some credit too, man. There is a real poet by the name of Black Snow.
Eddie Kane Maine says, you didn't just say that. Tell me you did not just say that.
Hey, man, I'm just keeping it real, man. That's all I'm doing. I'm just keeping it real. That's what we do here inside the Hall of Fame. We just shooting it, from the hip and telling it like it is more so than anything, man.
Eddie Kane Man says again, Tony Khan was serious about that Jim Crockett comment.
Yeah, he was, because he probably got a little more money than Jim Crockett.
He probably does.
I can agree with him on that right there. But throwing your pocketbook around don't make you a big man. It really don't. It doesn't make you look like a big man. Going out there and getting the work done, and there again, steadying this ship, I think will make him look a little bit better more than anything.
Agreed. Asino Dub says, Punk said, you got a problem with me, come find me. Well, they found his A. I say they take advantage of the attention and make some money off of it. If money can be made, I don't know.
No, man, there is a chance to make some money here with this thing. If everybody could become, like I said, get on the same page, be adult about this situation, because it's not a game for kids in this situation right here, because this is about making some money. I talk about that all the time. I always talk about, guys want to have fun and whatnot. I get that. We want to be around our buddies. I get that. But at the end of the day, man, we are grown men, and this is Rover, chill. This is a business, and these guys, they got to understand that. Everybody, I ain't got to like you in order to do business, because it's about taking care of my family. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about them. It's about the fans. Making sure the fans get everything, every dime, that they pay for it. Make sure we do that. We do that. We got a chance to win. Okay. Simple. We don't, we lose every day.
This one says Vince McMahon helps AEW and becomes the new WCW. I wouldn't hold my breath on that one.
I wouldn't, this company's going to be around for a while. I think anyway.
Kid says, where can I see your matches in Japan?
Where can you see my matches that I had in Japan?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe on YouTube. I had a few matches in Japan. I don't know if they're any on YouTube or not, actually, to be honest. But my career in Japan was, brief. I didn't do a whole lot of big shows like, Eddie and a lot of those guys back in the day, the Scott Nortons of the world, that was living over there in Japan. I did 2 tours. Couldn't wait to get the hell back home, man. Because I'm going to tell you, man, I lost 10, 12 pounds when I was in Japan, man, because all they had was udon. If you don't know what that is, it's noodles. You know what I mean? I was like, man, get me home, man. Man, I loved it over there. I had a great time. But I wasn't one of those guys that spent a whole lot of time in Japan.
We have a couple more. Elijah Vince says, do you think people are still going to like Triple H, or are they going to turn on him like fans do anyway?
I don't think Triple H is worrying about what the fans are thinking right now, to be honest. I don't think Triple H has ever really thought about what the fans thought, other than trying to give the fans what they wanted to make them, believe in the product, believe in, his character and whatnot. Triple H has always been a businessman. And people can say what they want to say about him, but he's always been a businessman. He's always, worked for the strength of the company. And I say that only because I've been there and I saw it up close and personal. Seriously.
John says, word is CM Punk may have injured himself during the altercation. Is this the way we will suspend him, by covering the suspension with an injury?
Well, I mean, we're going to have to bring the interim championship back again, right? Right.
There's going to be another interim champion.
Bring another interim championship back. One of the guys, who's going to win it? Castagnoli or Moxley? The only two Gold Dust. You know what I mean?
Give it to Dustin.
Well, the WWE guys we got over there, Miro. Gotta be somebody I can work with. He can't work with these AEW guys, these freaking kids. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen right there.
So, okay, it looks like I've been limited on my scroll here. I can't go back any further. So if you have a super chat that was missed, please screenshot it, tweet it to me at Brad Gilmore, and we will answer it on the next edition of the Hall of Fame. Because literally, we got so many comments. My StreamYard said, you can't scroll no more.
Hey, man, that's the way it is inside the Hall of Fame, man. We're blowing up the system right now. We're blowing up the internet. But no, man, I hope they can rectify the situation and get back on track. Hopefully, the inner, turmoils will work. Then again, man, I have no dog in the fight. I mean, if they get it right, they get it right. If they don't get it right, they don't get it right. But like Chris Jericho said, I agree with 100% as far as you really don't, it's like my school. It's like a reality of wrestling. And those guys come in there. Some guys come in there and they really don't get it. They don't understand it. And those guys that's been there, they'll let them know, or they'll kick them out real quick in a heartbeat, because man, we want to keep this. You don't realize how good we really got it here, and you're not going to get this anywhere else. You're not going to get this anywhere else. So guys know what you got, and more importantly, do your part. Do your part to keep it. Seriously.
Absolutely. We have one last one that came in just now. So this one came through. Booker, you're my all-time hero. Today is my birthday. My name is Carlos Enrique Cevancha Giuseppe from Peru.
Hey man, Carlos, happy birthday, my friend. Thanks for the super chat and thanks for listening to the Hall of Fame, man. Getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Hopefully, we giving it to you straight, not like them other suckers out there, man, trying to sugarcoat it and get clicks and whatnot, but giving it to you straight from the heart. From the heart.
If you will.
Only the heart and the strong. Only the heart. Yeah, that's what he said on the movie 300. Love that movie, man. Yeah.
Well, Book, let's send them on home. It's been a wild day in pro wrestling, and we'll see what happens later on in the week.
Time to go cook that chicken and rice, man. That goyo just going down tonight with the garlic as well, man. So, hey, yeah, man, we appreciate everybody who stepped inside the Hall of Fame. Got your champagne wishes, caviar dream. My boy Rover, he ready to get out of here, man. Bradley, as always, man. We appreciate you for getting all the hard work done. And, guys, we got to roll up out of here. And peace. We'll see you on the next run.